Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of the Monsters Den. Today, we've got the crew here, as always, Rich Catino, Chris Sallow. What's happening, guys? How are you on this Sunday afternoon?
What's up?
What's
Afternoon,
happening,
guys.
Pete? What's up, Rich? Good to see
What's
you
up?
guys.
Yep.
So today, we haven't done it in a while, so we figure we just do a kind of like our picks of the week, what we've been watching. And since we haven't done it in a few weeks, in fact, Chris, I think you and I last did it, like a month ago, if maybe
Yeah.
more. And I've been a film watching fiend lately on the weekends because the weather's been so shitty. There's nothing else to do, so I've just been watching movies every Saturday and Sunday, and if I can get a couple in during the week, so I do that. So I asked everybody to just kind of come prepared to show and talk about some of the stuff they've been watching that we haven't already covered on the channel. So why don't we have Chris go first, then Rich, and myself, and we'll just keep going around, and we'll just kind of show you and talk about some stuff here.
Okay, cool. This is a movie that I literally waited 40 years to watch. I wanted this movie came out in 1981, and it re-kickstarted. It was the first movie in 3D in theaters in like decades, and I wanted to see it as a kid. I didn't see it. I never saw it on VHS because it wasn't in 3D. And then I did buy the DVD a few years ago, which I couldn't find. I have in the collection somewhere, but it wasn't real 3D because it was one of those ones you could watch on any TV, and it came with the little paper glasses. And I bought it. It was a wrong aspect ratio. It was a shitty print. The 3D sucked. I watched like 5 minutes of it. I'm like, this movie sucks. But then I found out it came on a Blu-ray, remastered in the right ratio, and it made for 3D televisions. And it's a movie called Coming at Ya, which this movie was released in 1981. It's an R-rated Western. Look at that. Coming at you. I remember they made a big deal about it. I wanted to see a 3D movie so bad as a kid that when I couldn't catch this, I went to see whatever the next movie was. I begged my dad to take me to see House of Wax. And he's like, isn't that an old movie? And I'm like, no, I didn't know. I just wanted to see. Yeah, it was. It was Vincent Price. It was cool, but it wasn't like people getting stabbed and shot and boobs like Coming at You. So it is a Western, but it's a really violent Western, kind of like a revenge sort of movie. But it's fun. I mean, it's a fucking terrible movie. I'm not gonna whitewash it. I bought it for $8.50, but it was totally worth it. If you have a 3D TV, like a real 3D TV and player, you would do a lot worse with $8.50, man. I mean, stuff comes out at you, frying pans and snakes and bullets and knives, and so it's a terrible movie, but fun. So I don't know if it's worth waiting 40 years, but I enjoyed it. I mean, it's a good bad movie, and if you like 3D.
Cool. Got a couple others?
Well, yep. I watched recently. I got the 4K disc for Hellboy. This is the remake, which I did not see in theaters. It came and went so fast, but then I heard good things about it. I liked it. It's from what's his name? Neil Marshall, who did a ton of great movies, including the Descent and the Dog Soldiers, and what's that other one with that? I can't remember, that Mad Max ripoff. All his movies are fun. And I'm not a Hellboy purist or whatever. Never had a Hellboy comic in my life, but I like this movie. I thought it was fun. It looked good. Yeah, it's a lot of CGI, but I thought David Harbour was really good as Hellboy. I watched it with a buddy, and he was like, "Oh, so this is like the third one?" And I'm like, "No, it's a total reboot." But I liked it. I enjoyed it. The 4K disc, I got it off Amazon for like $8. Again, it's a cheap buy, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
Is it like the original?
Yeah, it's very similar. I mean, there's a lot of differences, but it's a reboot. It's Hellboy, and he's got the same origins. It's a completely different set of circumstances. But he's tortured because he's raised by this guy, and that's his dad, and they got the whole secret society thing, and he goes on missions, and he's tortured because what's my place in life, and he gets visions that he's the one that's going to destroy the world. So it's very similar, but still, very different. With a lot of all the other characters are different, other than the father. All different actors. But again, I liked it. I'm not a Hellboy purist, so I can't comment other than I saw the first two in the theater and liked them, and I like this.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it either. You know what?
Okay.
I think I'm getting burnt out on these like reboots. Just like, you know what?
Right.
I get if you want to bring a new cast in and all that kind of stuff, but can we just like pick up where we left off and not this constant like going back to the beginning all the time? It's like, but in saying that, it's a really good looking film. Maybe a little too CGI-ish for my taste. I really love the kind of real effects that they used in the first two. But it's not awful. I was a little disappointed, but I think there's a lot of good about it that people can enjoy.
Totally, yeah. I mean, like for me, for $8, watching it at home, nothing to do on a rainy Saturday. I was like, oh yeah, that was fun. It was fun.
Quite frankly, for me, I was like more excited to see Neil Marshall coming back and do something because Jesus, he hasn't done anything. It seems like forever.
It's been years, and unfortunately, this did not do well. So he won't be doing a Hellboy 2. And unfortunately, if the movie tanked like it did, I don't think too many people are going to be knocking down his door to make another movie.
No, although he's got another film, like I think it's like a witch movie that's kind of sitting there waiting to be released that I read about, which looks really cool. So who knows? We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Rich, you got a couple you want to show?
Yeah, but I was going to say, speaking of reboots, they just did Wrong Turn too as well, and that was a good.
I saw the trailer for it last night.
They decided to reboot that. I didn't see it yet though.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I was like, it's always interesting when you got a film that has like what 6. They've already done 6 films. So why are you gonna keep going with it? When you got to reboot the whole thing again? It's like
true.
Right. Because when they did the first 3, then they did another 3 that went backwards to the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't even. I saw the first. I think I saw the first 3. I mean, my favorite's the first one because I love Eliza Dushku. But
and that first one is really good. The first one
is
really good.
Yeah.
Second one has its moments. Silly.
And then is that the one with Henry Rollins?
Yeah.
All right, so I definitely saw the first 2. I'm not even sure. Maybe I didn't see the third one.
There's too many.
Who did the first one? Wasn't it Stan Winston or somebody?
Oh, who did the makeup?
Or directed it too? I think I want to say somebody. It was somebody big. Let me check, but I'm sure it was somebody big.
I don't even remember.
Who did the original? Yeah.
I mean, the original is, easily looks the best, has the best acting, and the effects are really good, I think, in the original.
Right.
Yeah. And the one prequel that they did was good too. Bloody Beginnings, I think it was called.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, no, I don't think I saw that one either.
That was good. It shows the 3 brothers before they're older and when they're in this institution. Let me see. Looking at the original one.
Chris, it's interesting.
Produced by Stan Winston. I knew it.
They produced it. Okay. All right. Wow. I didn't know he had anything.
First one, yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Chris, Rich is kind of like our Nick Franco of this show.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
The man with the Google at the hands at all times, right?
That's perfect.
All right. What do you got for recommendations for today, Rich?
All right. So one of them is something that you gave me, which I'd never seen before. I didn't even know it was such a series, but it was cool. It's great, I thought. The Werewolf and the Yeti, which is a Spanish movie. Yeah. What's that?
Paul Naschy, man.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and I didn't know that this is it's number 7 of 8 or something.
Oh yeah, I don't even know if it's right. He's got so many of those werewolf movies, and they're all fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never seen this before. I'm totally unfamiliar with this, but it was called, from Spanish to American, it's The Curse of the Beast.
Yeah, each one of these films has so many different names to them. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's The Werewolf and the Yeti, or Night of the Howling Beast, and Hall of the Mountain King. But I don't see the connection to that. Right?
Yeah. Who knows?
Well, I mean, you can't make heads or tails of all the titles, because one of my favorite ones is Frankenstein's Bloody Terror, but Frankenstein is not in the movie.
Is it part of this whole series of things or no?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. But it's kind of like the Godzilla movies, Rich. Like, some of them are connected, some of them aren't. Some of them it's just, you just watch it and enjoy. You don't have to, see the whole You don't have to see him in sequence or anything.
Yeah, there's no like consistency at all through any of them. So yeah, you can watch any of them out of order.
Yeah, it seems like I'm reading the description here. It says here the film ignored the events from the previous films, The Fury of the Wolfman and Curse of the Devil.
Yep.
Does the devil appear in that, by the way, or is that just some creative title?
Just some creative title.
Okay.
Yeah.
And provided an all new origin for Waldemar's lycanthropy, having the curse transmitted by the bites of not one but two vampire women. That was pretty cool, actually. That sequence when they're in that cave and the women are they're seducing him, and then they bite him. He turns to, then he gets the curse of the werewolf. Very seductive, sensual, I guess you could say.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely were going for a horror meets like erotica feel for almost all these movies.
Yeah, a little bit
that was
erotica,
big and Stain at the time. Yeah.
I mean, those are the staples. Paul Naschy, who looks like the Incredible Hulk with his big hulking chest. He's always drooling, and he's always surrounded by gorgeous women. Yeah. And then throw in some other monsters, and there you go. Well, the
Yeti doesn't show up until the very end. You don't see the Yeti till the end. Yeah. Just shows up out of nowhere to do a wrestling match.
Yeah,
totally.
Which is a fun one too. I mean, I think the best one is Werewolf Shadow. That's I think the best made film out of all of them. But the one that's so much fun is Assignment Terror, and that's got like the Mummy in it, and Dracula, the Frankenstein monster, the Wolfman. That's like their big destroy all monsters.
And it's part of this series too.
Yeah.
You got to check that out. But this was great. It was enjoyable. I want to get it on Blu-ray now.
I think Assignment Terror, is one of those new ones, right, Pete? That's coming on Blu-ray.
I just got it on Bluray. Yeah.
Oh, it's out now. You have it already.
It is. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
There was a sequel too. They said Return of the Wolfman in '81.
Now Return of the Wolfman, is that also known as The Craving?
The Craving, yeah.
The Craving, The Craving is really good. I saw that in the theater a couple of years ago.
So here's Assignment Terror.
Wow. All right, I got to get that. I don't have
that. Let's see. Then we got. So then there's Night of the Werewolf, which is also.
Yeah, I have that one.
Also part of the box set too, the Paul Naschy box set. This also just came out. Fury of the Wolfman.
Right. Yep. Shit, I got to get that one too.
And then there's this one, which is God. What was the other freaking name for this one? This is Frankenstein's Bloody Terror. So it's got the Spanish title on it,
which does not have Frankenstein.
Right, there's no Frankenstein in that. Then there's Curse of the Devil.
Yep.
Okay.
And then if you get the Paul Naschy Collection Part 2, you've got the Werewolf and the Yeti, which is the one you just showed.
Right.
But not the other ones that are in this series are included? Just
no, for whatever reason, the two collections don't have all of the werewolf films. Otherwise, I mean, that would have been the thing to do, to put out one collection and have all the werewolf films, but they didn't do that. Because you know what it is? He's got so many other movies. He does zombie movies. He's got Hunchback movies. He's done mummy movies. It's just out of control.
He's really like the Spanish, Boris Karloff or Christopher Lee or Lon Chaney. Yeah, I mean, he's the man.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm glad you like that.
That was enjoyable.
Yeah, I figured you'd like that.
Yeah, that was enjoyable. Yeah, I want to see a few of the other ones now and get this on Blu-ray too. It probably looks great.
Absolutely. What else you got? You got anything else?
So I rewatched one that you were talking about too, Stage Fright, because I hadn't seen it in a while and I forgot how good it was and different for a slasher movie. This was in '87, right? Yeah, '87. Yep. Yeah.
Blue Underground?
It's Italian horror.
Yep.
Yeah, is that Michele Soavi, if I remember right?
Yep, you got it.
Yep. And it's got the owl-faced killer, who's actually who's part of the theater show.
Yeah. And I love how they had, so just for everybody watching, basically this escaped lunatic who was in a mental asylum. He winds up like squeezing his way into an old theater where they're rehearsing this musical, and one of the characters has to wear this big owl head throughout. Well, he winds up killing the guy who wears the owl head and putting the owl head on, and then he spends the entire film killing everybody in the owl head,
taking people off. Yeah. Well, they're actually rehearsing a scene. He comes into the scene and they think it's the actual actor, but it's actually the killer. And they don't realize until he stabs this girl. And the director's like, wait, he's not supposed to stab her.
Exactly.
And then they figure it out, and she's dead on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. And I like the music too, because it's part like a musical and then it's part horror. They mix the two of them together throughout the movie.
Yeah, the soundtrack is quite good, actually. It goes along with everything. Yeah, it's really well done. The kills are great, I think.
Yeah, very underrated.
Yeah, cool art too. Definitely a good one in the slasher series.
I had never heard of this film before, and I was on some website recently where they were talking about like underrated horror gems from the 80s, and that came up, and I'm like, it was very highly rated. I was like, I never heard of that. So I just took a chance. I went and bought it, and I was like,
yeah,
really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is a good one.
Something a little different out of the usual for a slasher movie.
Yeah, I totally agree. Good cast too. It's definitely all right.
Yeah. And then the last thing I was watching, getting ready for a Monsters Den episode coming up, was Youngery.
Oh yeah.
The little teaser of one of the movies that I picked for the rubber suit topic that we're doing. So this was a South Korean Japanese production, combination of both. Totally a ripoff of Godzilla, but it kind of merges a little bit with Gamera too, because you got the little kid that's got this like somewhat of a connection to Youngery, like he's trying to talk to him throughout the movie, and like how's the dinosaur gonna really hear a little kid yelling his name out, right?
Man, he's so attuned to those little kids, man.
They're always there to be a companion for the monster, right? Cool box art, by the way, too.
Yeah, I always like.
Yeah, this is very enjoyable. And the Blu-ray, this isn't the Blu-ray version, but even though this isn't Blu-ray, this looks fantastic on DVD on a nice TV.
Nice.
The colors and everything are really rich and everything, and destruction, and it really looks like he's in the city or in the landscape or out in the countryside. Looks really nice.
In my kind of like to be ordered cart in Amazon for like an eternity. I need to just pull the trigger on it.
Yeah.
That's funny. I have the Blu-ray in the garage, and it's in my pile to watch, but I never actually wanted to grab it. I think I have the DVD. I know I had the laser disc.
Wow.
But yeah, that's a fun one. That's
it's cool. It's fun. The special effects are pretty good. The suit's pretty good looking.
Yeah, it's a good looking monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, Korea was like, all right, we're going to get into this giant monster game too, right? And unfortunately, did they ever do another one? Yeah, I don't think so, right?
I don't think so.
Right. It's one of those other company movies like Gappa.
Right. Monster from a Prehistoric Planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. The X from Outer Space, that weird alien one with the triangle.
That guy's got the awesome head. That should have been like a Star Wars alien. That guy looks great.
I love that one. Yeah. I haven't been able to find it on Blu-ray. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one in forever.
I got it on Blu-ray.
Oh, you did?
They put it out on Blu-ray. Yeah, they did. Some company put it out. Yep.
Oh, I need to have that. I love that one.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. So yeah, that's 3 I watched this week.
Okay. I got a ton of stuff here. All right, so I'll blow through a few and then we'll get back to Chris. All right, so I hadn't seen this in a million years, and I picked it up on Blu-ray and I loved it. House on Sorority Row. So
classic.
I have that.
Yeah, this is just.
I don't have the Blu-ray though. How's the Blu-ray?
It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. This is a Scorpion releasing edition. Quite good. The visuals are great. I just think it's fun. I mean, who doesn't love? You got a sorority house full of chicks, right?
Oh yeah.
Killer one by one, knocking them all off. It's like it's one of those. Who is it? Who's it going to be?
I was just it's really like a whodunit. It's a slasher and a whodunit at the same time.
Yeah, it's good, and I love the special features because they bring back a couple of the stars from the show or from the movie to talk about it all these years later, and really good. That was a total hoot. To quote Mr. Allo there, I'm sure. Here's one. This is really cool. So I'm a big Barbara Steele fan. I know Chris is as well. And I saw Barbara Steele, Queen of Horror, released for Nightmare Castle, that also has Castle of Blood, which is great, and Terror Creatures from the Grave. So it's like basically a triple feature on one disc. And is that the one
that you shared with us in the discussion that was released that you can find? Yep. One of the ones that you can actually get.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to pick that up.
Yeah, I have the Blu-ray too, and been meaning to watch all three forever, and haven't gotten to it.
It's good. I mean, all three are they're on the hokey side, but it's just creepy, atmospheric, like kind of like Dark Castle type stuff. And you gotta love that stuff from the 60s and early 70s. And she's just so like exotic and different looking, right? When she's on the screen, and Chris and I have a long joke that they always overdub.
She's very striking looking. Very striking.
Big eyes and the big forehead, right, and the long hair, and you never get to hear her real voice because they always dubbed her voice out, which is kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. Love this. Hadn't seen this in a million years.
Yeah.
Night of the Creeps.
Talked about that in I forgot what episode. What was it? One of the episodes. That was one of my choices.
Zombie episodes, maybe.
I think a zombie episode we did. Yeah. So much fun. Really dug that a lot.
5-star classic.
Oh yeah. And speaking of zombie, this is also kind of a zombie film too, which I hadn't seen in a long time. And I remember when I first watched it, I was kind of like, yeah, that's pretty good, not great. But then I rewatched it, and I think I appreciate it more. Is Dead and Buried with James Farentino and Melody Anderson and Jack Albertson, who plays the bad guy in it, which go figure. It's
that's
it's good. Plotter's buff, right? There's a little town.
It's a weird little movie.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, I always flip-flop back and forth about how much I like it or not. I always get confused.
I will say,
because I've seen it.
Give it another chance. I enjoyed it a hell of a lot. I watched it yesterday, and I was like, you know what? That's actually a pretty damn good, weird little movie. It's a really interesting plot. Jack Albertson is like the mortician, and he's actually he finds out how to reanimate dead bodies. So what he basically does, he moves to this town, starts up a business, and he starts like killing off people in the town just so he can reanimate them, and like the whole town is freaking zombies, right? And it's like, so now you don't know who are actually alive and who are actually zombies. It's actually really cool, and Stan Winston does all the effects in it, and they're pretty cool. There's the famous scene of the guy who's wrapped up in all these bandages like a mummy, and all you see is his eye, and they stick the needle in his eye, which is like, ugh,
Yeah.
I dig it. I think that I enjoyed the hell out of it.
It's coming out now on 4K from somebody, and I was like, I don't know. I'm like, dude, I don't even know if I like this one too much, because I saw it probably last time was probably about a year ago. I saw it 100 years ago on VHS. I don't think I liked it. Then I saw it off film at a festival. I was like, this is great. Then I got the DVD, and I think I liked it. But then I watched it like a year ago, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I hate to say it. Part of me gets hung up on the plot, because I'm like, Pete's right. The mortician kills the people in the town, kill people, and then the mortician brings them back as a zombie, but they're not like a flesh-eating zombie. It would be like, you're totally normal. Yeah. So I'm like, wait. So like they kill the guy at the gas station. So now he comes back as a zombie, but what does he do? He still works at the gas station. So what's the point of killing him? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
It's like his hobby. He gets off on reanimating bodies, right? So it's like he can't help himself. It's just weird. And Jack Albertson, who was like, and he did this movie right before he died, and he's like 80 something, and he's so weirdly creepy, as like,
oh yeah, so creepy.
Like big Coke bottle glasses, and it's just like, oh my god, but it's fun.
It is a creepy movie. It's a creepy movie for sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'll have to watch it again.
Yeah, I would say
I haven't seen it in a long time.
And I will say I probably should have waited if they're coming out with it on 4K, because the Blu-ray doesn't look great. It's not awful. It's definitely improvement over the DVD. But if you're on the fence at all about it, or if you've seen it and you like it and you want to get a nice copy, if they're going to come out with it in 4K, I would wait for that.
Yeah, it was just
Blue Underground is decent enough, but I've seen way better HD transfers.
Yeah, Blue Underground actually is the version that I have of this, the Stage Fright, and this looks really good still.
Yeah, the Blu-ray of that looks good as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Speaking of fun, and I got Mr. Rallo to thank for this. I thought this was a blast. I had never seen this movie before, and based on your review of it months ago, I bought it. I watched it ages ago, but I saw it on the shelf. I'm like, I do want to make a quick mention. Invasion of the Bee Girls.
Nice.
What a blast.
Fun.
Oh, man, it's just so good. And it's got Victoria Vetri, who, of course,
gorgeous. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So, but this is a lot of fun. It's just corny but just great,
Boobs galore.
Women turning into bee creatures. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's a hoot.
Back to you, Chris.
Okay, I got 2 more. I rewatched. I had the disc a while. Probably haven't seen it in about 10 years. The movie, and man, I mean, I just love it. Coffee with Pam Grier. Her star making film from 1973. This is the Arrow Blu-ray because there's a ton of extras. The US Blu-ray doesn't have any extras, but man, it's awesome. If you haven't seen it, I mean, it's basically a revenge flick and a blaxploitation movie, directed by Jack Hill, who did Spider Maybe and Switchblade Sisters, The Big Dollhouse, The Big Birdcage with Pam Grier. But this was her first major starring role. It was a huge hit, and I mean, she's just fucking awesome in it. I mean, there's car crashes and explosions and people getting run over and drugs and boobs and violence and completely politically incorrect, but unbelievable. Pam Grier's acting is really solid. You know, the parts where she's like crying over her sister who became a heroin addict and all. I mean, I'm actually watching and going, all right, I know this movie is filled with boobs and violence, and this is why it was not, you know, Academy Award nominated material. But man, Pam Grier's performance is killer. It's you know, this and Foxy Brown are her two best of the old movies for sure, and I just love it. I'm just rewatching it again. I was like, holy smokes, this movie just kills it.
I've never seen it.
You're kidding.
Never saw it. No.
Have you ever seen Foxy Brown?
Oh yeah, that's great.
Okay,
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Coffee's very, very similar. Foxy Brown, I think, is a little more slightly cartoonish, but still, you know, along the lines. Coffee's a little grittier, I think, but they're both great flicks. She looks amazing in it, and it's just a fun ride. And God, it's like, I think it's like 90 minutes or so. It's so just runs so fast, but hits everything in blaxploitation. You know, getting put down by the man and revenge and drugs, and I don't know how many people get run over in this movie. It's so funny.
And I gotta say,
get shot in the face with shotguns. Oh, it's great.
Arrow does a great job on these reissues.
Yes, they really do, and that's the beauty, because you know, I love the movie, so I wanted the extras. This has a running commentary with Jack Hill. There's like a 20-minute interview with Pam Grier, like a 20-minute interview with director Jack Hill, and then there's like a 30-minute essay on blaxploitation cinema, and then there's some trailers and, you know, some really cool stuff. And the US one has nothing, not even a trailer. So you know, if you like the movie and if you have all region capability, Arrow's the one to get for sure.
Yeah, cool. What else you got?
And then the other one I got, Justice League Dark, The Apocalypse War. This is the quote unquote final animated movie from the DC animated universe. I think this came out about a year ago. I had seen it before, but I think I was drunk because I fell asleep on it. So last night was the first time I actually sat and watched the whole thing from start to finish, and it is brutal. It's R-rated. And it's basically the DC equivalent, the DC animated equivalent to Marvel's Endgame, Infinity War movies. It's not that long. It's only like 90 minutes. It's got the entire DC universe basically at war with Darkseid. And I mean, man, you just see heroes getting ripped apart, you know, limbs torn apart off of, you know, Shazam and Green Lantern. I mean, and they're just killing people left and right. And
is that the first one or the second one? I thought there was two.
This is the second one. There's another Justice League Dark one.
I think. Hold on, I think I got it.
This is the final one, and it is violent, and it is just dark and bleak, like way darker and bleaker than Endgame and Infinity War. Because, you know, yeah, spoiler, you know, in that movie, all these people turn to dust. But in this, you know, you're seeing like Shazam get his leg chopped off, and you know, Hal Jordan's getting stabbed, and you know, I mean, it's just it's brutal, but it's a good flick, and I guess they were ending it to reboot it. That's the first one, yeah.
Yep.
So I don't have either. I have another Justice League Dark. Didn't they do another one before these two? I have another Justice League Dark. I don't know if it's the same one, Rich, but
what year was this one?
I have it in the other room, but
This was good too. I really liked this.
What year was
Yeah.
that from? So that's got the one you got, Rich. That's got Batman, John
Yeah.
Constantine, Dead Man.
Yep.
I think I have that one. I have the Blu-ray of that.
Zatanna, Dead Man.
Yeah, I got that. That one's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's good. Yeah.
Lot things in it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the sequel yet. I want to see it.
They bring everybody back, but this one has, everybody, even like small appearances. It's Justice League Dark, Teen Titans,
they're all together. That's awesome.
Green Lantern Corps, Suicide Squad, Swamp Thing.
Wow.
Like I'm sitting here watching. All right, so it's like everybody except the Legion of Superheroes. I mean, I guess they didn't want to, travel through time and whatever, but yeah, so many heroes and villains, and it was really good. And like I said, it's brutal. It's R-rated. It's definitely not for kids.
I'm sorry. DC does a better job with their animated movies than their actual movies.
Yeah, they really did. It was it's worth seeing for sure.
Oh, I got to get that. Yeah. So now you mentioned that's going to be their last one. They're not going to do any more animated, or just for the Justice League Dark.
I mean, I have a feeling that they're going to reboot it, I assume, because what was really cool with all the DC animated movies were all interconnected, like the real Marvel movies. And they said this is the final one, but I'm assuming they're just going to reboot it because, spoiler alert, the way this movie ends, it's totally open for a reboot. And whether they're going to keep everything interconnected or not, I'm not sure. But they had said that this was it. They were like, this is everything. I think, the war to end all wars, and it's pretty violent.
Yeah, you would think that DC would do that with their movies, their live action movies.
I think that was the plan.
Which is a success for Marvel, and it's a success for their animated movies. So why not do it with your live action movies instead of recasting everyone, rebooting everything? Nothing's connected, different timelines. They're like all over the place.
I think that
now
it just didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like they're getting ready to they're supposedly going to have the Flashpoint movie.
Yep.
And they can reboot the universe, but also DC and Marvel are both going with a multiverse route, which I guess is kind of good because, well, if you don't like this version of a hero, well, then maybe you'll like this one. Of course, now there's the strong rumor that DC is going to do Black Superman, which is very interesting. Be curious to see how that goes over with the public.
What's going to happen with the Justice League that's coming on HBO Max too? The Snyder Cut. What are they going to do? What if it's a success? It's going to be done, one and done. That's it.
Could be, or they could keep something going. I mean, with the multiverse, right? All options are open. So,
but how do you have Darkseid in it and just tease him, and then he's not going to be showing up again, right?
Yeah. He's got to be the big baddie, right?
Right. You just can't leave that and do a 3-hour, 4-hour cut, whatever they got going on, and have a cameo by Martian Manhunter, and then it's done. Then we're going to move on to something else and recast everybody, and it's going to be aggravating.
It's messy.
It's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, get it together.
Look at the comic books. It's the same in the comics. It's always been, it's never been a steady timeline. It seems like every new team. I mean, Pete, this better than anybody. Every new team that comes in, they reboot it. I mean, I don't even collect anymore. And I've heard that Marvel rebooted their comic universe like 5 times in the last 8 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But at least with the DC animated movies, you're getting that consistency, like you said, with the Dark. You finish it off, you finish your storyline, and then you can reboot it and do something different. But at least complete your arc and your sequels and everything instead of doing what was it, Batman, Superman, and then Justice League, where you have either Easter eggs or cameos, or a storyline that's like open-ended, and then nothing comes of it in the next movie. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
We could do a whole show on this topic. My God.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Rich, you got any others for today?
No, just the 3 movies, because I was listening to a lot of music this week, catching up on that, so I didn't get to watch too many. But I'll be ready for the Rubber Suit Monsters Den for
Thursday.
The next, is that this coming up? Yeah, so, yeah.
All right. Well, if you guys don't mind, I got a bunch to blow through here. If you have any comments on them, go right ahead.
Yeah.
So here I gotta talk about this one that Chris lent me. So The Devil's Express from Chris, what year was this? 1970.
It's got to be 76, 77, something like that.
Something like this. This is a wacky ass movie. It's like, is it a kung fu movie? Is it a blaxploitation movie? Is it a monster movie? It's a little bit
a gang movie.
Gang movie, right? I mean, just off the wall. Just it made no sense, but it was a lot of fun. And there were some moments I was just kind of like, will you look at that?
Yeah.
I mean, and this is like one of those, like every big fight scene between the gangs, they're all using martial arts, and you got like this one guy who looks just like Bruce Lee, and you got like a Puerto Rican guy, you got a couple of black guys, a couple of Asian guys, and they're all just like going at it, right? All this martial arts with the big snaps and everything like that every time they hit each other, and you can see they're not even coming close to hitting each other, right? So it's like, you've seen better martial arts in other films, but it's just so much fun. And then, they go to this island, they're learning some of these martial arts, classic moves and ideology and all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden there's this monster guy with these bug eyes, which you can, big, huge eyes, which you can plainly see. He's got his eyes closed and he's got like a whites painted on his eyelids, and he's wearing a suit. Like, why is he wearing a suit? I don't know.
Why not? Why not?
And he's hanging. Then he winds up in New York City. How did he? Why? They never explain the monster at all. He's just there, and then eventually he grows these like gigantic hands, and you can see their gloves, right? And he just becomes all nasty looking. And there's like all these weird little subplots with all the different people in the film, and it's just the whole time I was watching, I was texting Chris, and I'm like, I can't believe they just went there. It's like, what?
And I was just like, wait, it gets worse. It gets worse.
I have to watch this. It's like when you guys were talking about The Last Shark and Roar.
Yeah, those are great too, right?
Right? Like that day I was watching those two movies. I was like, oh my God, I got to see this. So that's going to be that movie.
Yeah, Devil's Express.
Pretty bad.
It's like, whew, crazy.
Also known as Gang Wars. Because I guess, they tried to sell it like like The Warriors, after that got released. I mean, it's a mess of a movie. Instead of a masterpiece, it's a disaster piece. But it's so much fun.
My guess is, in saying that, my guess is the whole monster part of this was probably thrown in at the last minute, because for the first like 3/4 of the film, the monster has nothing but amble about, right? And then all of a sudden, at the end of the film, he kind of interacts with other characters in the film. But it's like, you're probably right. They probably tried to make this just a straight gang martial arts film, and they're like, we need something else here, and they threw the monster.
We need something to sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish there was more. The monster's terrible, but I wish there was more monster in the movie.
Yeah, I agree with you. But wacky stuff. I've also was watching this recently. I picked this up on Criterion. I know, Chris, you're not a fan, but it's a wonderfully weird ass movie. One of the weirdest movies you'll ever see. Just creepy,
that's for sure.
Atmospheric. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I like David Lynch. I got to be in the mood to watch his films because they're all so really just bizarre, and you have to like really pay attention because he throws all this like foreshadowing stuff and all these like weird little scenes where you're like, all right, well, what does that symbolize? Right? There's a lot of like that symbolism type stuff in his films. But I dig Racerhead. I think it's fun. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know. It's not an action movie. It's weird. So there was that. I also watched this yesterday.
Oh, that's a great one.
Man.
Yeah,
this is fun. I mean, it's not the most original movie you'll ever see. It's a complete, Friday the 13th ripoff. But you got this big hulking guy in the blue jean overalls, right, with the axe and the crazy white hair. And did you guys ever think it was kind of weird that they're at this summer camp and there's only like 6 kids in the whole camp, and you got like 6 counselors?
Oh, sure.
Ain't a lot of money in salary for all these counselors to have only 6 kids there. I'm like, what?
When we ran the 35 millimeter print of Madman at my Hudson Horror Show, we had the producer and some of the crew members come, and some cast members, they talked about it, including Paul, the guy that plays the Madman. Yeah. And it's a fun little movie. I think if it would have come out a little bit earlier, I think it would have been a really big hit. But it's a good little slasher for sure. And that was shot in Long Island, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was definitely in New York somewhere. And yeah, it's a good transfer. You know, the Vinegar Syndrome did this
Yes.
one. It looks great. Like I said, as long as you don't mind that it's pretty derivative of a lot of the films from the time period, I think it's a lot of fun. The kills are really good, which is always nice. You get a little bit.
Galen Ross from Dawn of the Dead is in it, and she's under a different name, and I forget what the reason was, but yeah, it's a good little flick.
Yeah, I dig it. And then I rewatched this over the weekend, and this is a powerhouse flick. I think a very, very underrated Italian giallo film, Torso.
Yes. Never saw that one. I never saw that one.
Oh, Rich, me too. Yeah, it's quite good. This
boobs and blood galore,
and the women are so hot in this movie.
Oh, unbelievable!
All right, I'm told.
It's another, it's one of those whodunit films. And, it's kind of derivative, like Deep Red or Tenebrae and all that kind of stuff. But it's so well done, and like I said, the women are gorgeous. The kills are amazing. And, the killer is cool too, right? He's wearing the kind of like the hood over his face and stuff.
Yeah, like a zipper face.
Yeah, and this is Sergio Martino did this particular film, and really, really good, very, very underrated.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rich, if you get a chance to check it out,
I'm gonna put that on the list too.
Yeah, you should do that. All right, Chris, you got some more?
Yeah, the only thing I have left is the new 4K disc of They Live, which I had previously. I had the Blu-ray, which I hadn't seen in a long time, and then I got the 4K disc, and it's too interesting. Say again?
Did you get the action figure?
Well, yeah. I got the.
Awesome.
Well, first I had the. These are I love the Mego action figures. These are this is the 8-inch cloth figures. First they did the aliens.
Nice.
And then they did Roddy Piper figure.
Nice.
The images I saw them. The pictures look great.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Then the rare one that apparently you can't get anymore was part of a big box set. This is the Frank figure,
nice.
Keith David or David Keith. I always mix that up. I think it's David Keith from They Live. But yeah, it's a hoot. The transfer looks great.
Oh, amazing.
I hadn't seen it, and I think the last time I saw it was we ran. I'm wearing the shirt. We did a spoof of for the shirt. We spoofed Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind with the They Live alien. But yeah, I ran They Live, Creep Show, and greatest action movie ever made, Hard Boiled, with a couple mystery movies, which I don't remember what the mystery movies were. But watching it again at home, I was like, good God. I'm like, John Carpenter's got to be the greatest director of all time. I mean, the amount of unbelievable movies this guy makes. And They Live, it really starts off kind of slow, but man, once it kicks in and it's got arguably the greatest fight scene of all time.
It never ends, right? It goes on and on and on.
One of the longest.
Yeah.
I mean, that lasts like 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
At least. Yeah.
At least. It's still very dark though. It's so bleak without giving anything away. But if you haven't seen it, it's basically an alien invasion movie, but really good. Just so well done, and the disc looks fantastic. There's a ton of extras, most of which are on the Blu-ray, but there's a lot more on here, so I haven't really been able to dive into it.
I love the way it goes from what Pete?
I said a lot of good stuff on the extras. I watched a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. Oh, you went through them, yeah. So good stuff.
Yeah,
I love the way the film goes from color to black and white when you're wearing the glasses.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
that is fun.
And in a day and age like today, it's like this whole Big Brother is watching type of thing, and I mean, it's so relevant, right?
John Carpenter was so ahead of his time with that.
Yes, you guys are 100%. I thought the same thing. My God, this is whatever it is it 35 years ago, whatever? I'm like, God, he was right on with whole, the media manipulating you. And I'm like, oh, my, it's so creepy how relevant it is today.
Yeah. I always recommend that to people who are not really fans of this kind of stuff. And when they watch it, they're like, wow, we don't really like these kind of like sci-fi horror type things. And this was really an amazing movie.
And what a good job Roddy Piper did. Right? I
Crossed
mean,
over.
the first half of the movie, he doesn't
Unbelievable.
really say much of anything, so it's not like he had a lot of lines to memorize. But and this was at pretty much the height of his WWE popularity, or WWE
sure.
time, right? And it's funny because there's a scene there where he takes his shirt off, right? And he's fucking ripped.
Oh, he's ripped.
He never, because I mean, he went on record saying he used steroids quite a bit around this time because he never looked like that again, ever.
No. No, he did. He was ripped, but yeah, what a fun movie.
Yeah.
But still, very, very dark and kind of bleak. No surprise coming from the mind of John Carpenter.
Yeah. And another fantastic job from Scream Factory, who
Oh yeah. I mean, not that I want to spend more money, but I really hope that they, dive headfirst into doing 4K discs, because this was just awesome looking.
Yeah. All right. I have a few more. If you guys got time, I'll just run through stuff I watched. Speaking of Scream Factory, was watching this, the director's cut of Nightbreed.
Nice.
A lot of fun, man.
Oh, a lot of fun.
I love creature feature movies, man. So anything you got like monsters in them, and I thought that the makeup is great in this film.
For sure.
Clyde
now
Barker.
that's the 2-hour cut.
Yes.
Okay, because I have that, and I also have the other version, which is like 3+ hours, and that one's tough to get through.
I can imagine.
The director's cut's cool because it has some extra stuff, but the extra hour really doesn't add much. So I think that's the way to go, the director's cut.
And I love Clyde Barker. I've read a ton of his.
Yeah.
He's got a weird ass mind, right? And you get it.
He does.
We talked about Arrow before, and they put out a great version of The Hills Have Eyes, the original from Wes Craven.
I don't have that. We'll have to get that.
Really good.
Yeah, I need to get that too.
Yeah, it's really good. A lot of good supplements in it too. The film looks great. Very, very cool. So there's that. So watching this, it's a more recent film. So this is Hereditary. You guys ever hear of this?
Yes, I have. I have not seen it yet.
That's a great movie.
It really is, especially
It's
like the last half hour, 35 minutes.
Yeah, it gets crazy. You don't see it coming.
Not at all. If you like those kind of like satanic cult type of films,
yes,
yeah, and you're right. It's like a slow burn, and then all of a sudden, first you get to know this family. Family's kind of weird, and then you get to know, you figure out like all that's going on around them, and it's like I was surprised at how much I like this. Really, really good.
Yeah,
I'm sold.
I thought it was better than what was it called? The one with the goat. Was it the goat? What was it called?
Oh, The Witch. I like that movie.
The Witch, yes, that had the goat in it. I didn't really like that much, and I like this better. But it's the same.
That's another slow burn.
I wanted to love The Witch, but I couldn't understand a fucking word they were saying throughout the whole movie.
Right, which I know I said to Pete, I watched it with my buddy Dez, and he warned me ahead of time, and he's like, we have to watch it with the subtitles on. So we did, and that made it easier for me to enjoy.
I'm gonna have to do that because I wanted to love it because the film looked great. It was so just like kind of like dark and just I love like those type of films anyway. And I'm just like, what are they saying? What? It's like the funny thing is most of the cast, they're not even like they're regularly speaking people, and like the English dialect, and then but they're doing that whole thing, and they did it so well. I mean, God bless them, kudos, but it's just like I couldn't understand what they were saying. I'm like,
right. Yeah, it's the way they talk is just so, it's almost like Yoda, how they're saying things.
Yeah, it's
backwards.
Like an ancient dialect, right?
Yeah.
But I definitely should do that. I should rewatch it and put the subtitles on because I felt like half the movie was just going by me and I had no clue what was going on.
Right.
Try
Hereditary. Yeah, I've been meaning to see that for a while.
You have it. You need to get it. Did you buy the movie or you gonna
Hereditary?
Me or Pete? or Chris?
Yeah, no, I haven't bought it yet, but I know it's streaming on something. I can't remember if it's Amazon or Shudder.
I think so. One of them. Yeah, I definitely.
One of them.
Yeah, I think it's Amazon to be honest. Yeah, definitely check it out. It's pretty cool.
I think it was on Netflix too.
Might be.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I had a viewer who sent it to me. One of our viewers sent me.
Oh wow.
I was like, oh, I'd never heard of it. I was surprised at how good it was. Speaking of how good, Henry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Unsettling for sure.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. How about that ending, right?
Yeah.
Classic. Speaking of John Carpenter, we watched The Fog recently. Love it.
Classic.
Absolutely.
Love it.
5-star classic. I'm waiting.
Yes.
I hope somebody does that on 4K.
It'd be nice. I mean, I tell you what, this regular Blu-ray looks really good from Screen Factory, but yeah, if it comes out in a 4K, that would be pretty cool.
Now, it's been a little while since I saw it. I don't remember. Some of the scenes with the fog and nighttime and going back to daytime and everything. Is it still like a clean picture, or does it get a little grainy sometimes? I don't remember.
I mean, it's a little. I mean, they had to capture a little bit of that grain, but I think this looks pretty spectacular. It's way better than the DVD I used to have.
Yes, I do remember that. Yes.
Anchor Bay, I think, was the original DVD. If I
Yep.
yeah. But no, they did a great job on that, as they did on the Funhouse, which is a
love that, man. I love that one.
So much fun. And I got to tell you, I love when Screen Factory and Arrow does it too, where they do the reversable covers. You know, you can go in and
for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
I love that because they'll give you like the original artwork and then some newer artwork that they've commissioned for it. Which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, Arrow. I didn't realize it till I opened it up. But yeah, they did that with on the coffee disc. There's the inside and the newly commissioned artwork on the outside.
Yeah, really nice. It's good you have that option to do that.
Yeah.
And the last two for today, I've been watching a lot of films lately. I mean, I watched this, I think it was last weekend or the weekend before, like at 7:00 in the morning. I just got up early, I put it on, and I was just like howling with delight at how much I missed watching this film for so many years. From Beyond by Stuart.
Oh yeah.
Man, this is so over the top crazy.
Crazy.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
And it's so good that the Blu-ray has the unrated cut.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, the effects are just awesome, and it's just so wacky,
Yeah.
and Jeffrey Combs, just like the whole thing is just great. And then my last one, here's an old one. So this is going back to the 40s. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but Dr. Cyclops.
Oh, he shrinks the people.
He shrinks the people. Yep. And you got the.
I haven't seen that in forever.
This is a lot of fun. I used to watch this when I was a kid growing up.
Yes,
in the late 60s, early 70s, and I hadn't seen it in a million years, and I saw it was available on Blu-ray, so I snatched it up. It's just as much fun as I remember it, and made by the same team that made King Kong, the original Kong.
Oh wow, like Willis O'Brien?
No, he didn't work on any of the effects, but the production company. So this was Ernest Shosak and a bunch of other guys who worked on the sets and things for King Kong. All
nice
as well.
Yeah.
And it's a Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber does a great job on these restorations. So a lot of fun. Mix of and it's a early color film as well, and it looks really, really good.
Oh, is it? I don't even. Yeah. It's been so long. In fact, as a kid, I probably watched it on a black and white TV. I don't even remember seeing it in color.
Yeah, it looks great.
That's awesome.
So yeah, there you have it. That's all I got. I know it's a lot.
Excellent.
That's good. That's a good week.
That's a great one. It was a couple weeks actually. Yeah, it was a good week.
Nice.
I got more. Maybe we'll do this again in a couple weeks. So I got more.
Yeah.
So everybody stay tuned. We've got another Monsters Den coming up Thursday night. So once again, we're going to revisit some of our favorite rubber monsters, big and small. So we've each got 3 or so that we're talking about. So stay tuned for that.
One of them.
There's one of them. You got a little preview today. So there's more coming. So in fact, I know Chris has got a couple that I don't think I have ever seen. So.
Oh, that's good. I don't even remember which ones I said, but I'll have to go back and look. I love it's my favorite genres are zombie movies and rubber monster movies.
Yeah.
Which I would classify Devil's Express as being in that because it's a guy in a rubber suit. I mean, it's terrible.
It is pretty terrible.
Sometimes terrible is good. You have terrible that's
sure.
just terrible. You have terrible that's terrible, that's unwatchable. But then there's terrible that's good. That's good terrible.
Yeah. You can have a terrible movie. I mean, I always look at it this way, and this was a perfect example. It's a terrible movie. You understand it, right? You understand why it's terrible, but you're laughing, you're engaged with it. And I mean, if it was just a terrible movie that was no fun, I wouldn't have spent half the movie texting with Chris back and forth how much fun I was having.
Oh yeah.
But there are bad movies that you just can't even sit through, and there are bad movies that you're like, this is terrible, but it's a fucking blast, right?
So much fun.
Yeah. To be a horror movie fan, right? That's what.
No doubt.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you real soon. Like I said, more Monsters Den coming up on Thursday night. We've got the Hudson Valley Squares tomorrow night. We've got Barry Goodrow, formerly of Boston, coming up this week as well. A cool interview with him, and Martin Popoff a couple times on the show, as well as all sorts of other stuff. So stay tuned for all that and more. www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time.
All damn time.
Chris Allo, Rich Catino. I am Pete Pardo. Good night, everybody.